Palworld, in which has been often referred to as nothing more than Pokemon with guns since its initial reveal in 2021 by indie developer and publisher, I suppose, thanks to one of their other upcoming games, Pocket Pair. Pokemon with guns, however, doesn't really do it justice. Sure, it borrows extremely heavily from Pokemon and the various designs of certain pals to a point where so-called internet experts online are trying to prove they straight up ripped models from Scarlet and Violet, while also failing to do this in their so-called evidence. However, our world also borrows heavily from many other genres. First and foremost, our world is a survival crafting game. Or exactly, it's Ark Survival Evolved. That series, though, it's definitely optimized better than Ark, down to the technology tree when you level up and how you unlock that. Draws plenty of inspiration from. Ark is also, considered a monster catcher as you capture and tame various prehistoric dinosaurs and species. Here, our world does shift. It changes its aesthetic to that of what a 3D Pokemon game could and should look like in this day and age. It has this cutesy Pokemon veneer spread across its world, particularly on its monsters, who you capture in Palspheres of varying different strengths. They each have their own elemental strengths and weaknesses even. However, on top of this, they also have other skills. Each PAL is adept at different types of skills in your case. This includes handiwork, which means constructing buildings or workstations or creating items at the various workstations, to planting crops in different fields as a farmer, to watering crops, to mining stone or sulfur, coal, or quartz, to running furnaces or cooking stations or operating heaters with their innate fire abilities, to lumbering and chopping down trees, to be able to be put at the ranch for various resources that they'll just poop out or dig up from the ground, to gathering items from the various stations. It goes on and on and on. Then they of course have different levels of these, meaning how good they are at it. For instance, a pal with a mining capability of 1 can mine stone for you or work at the stone pit. However, only mining 2 or above can mine ore at various ore or other of mineable materials. A mining skill of 2 also means that they do mine stone faster. This is true for all the different skills. A pal with a farming of 2 is going to plant faster than a pal with farming of 1. A pal with water of 2 will water the crops faster, so on and so forth. And at this point, this is where it vastly starts to drift away from Ark or Pokemon. Now, our world is more akin to Factorio or Satisfactory. You are going to be managing your base and constructions and stations with pals who are going to be doing the job best based upon their skills and then their traits. From workaholic to lumber foreman to detrimental ones, such as glutton, which will increase their food consumption, or slacker, which means they're going to work less than the average pal. This, of course, comes even more to light at the breeding farm, where you can breed positively receive traits into your main workforce if you want. Now, you also have pals on the manufacturing lines, making more pal spheres for you to go capture more pals to bring home. You have the manufacturing weapons or armor, all of which you can use or sell to various merchants you can run across as you run across them in the Galapagos Islands. Of course, you can also just sell the extra pals for coin or distill them into other pals to make your current team stronger. It's up to you. Butchering them is also an option, and it's a rather cartoony but brutal scene which includes its own mosaic style film above it. This is still not all of Palworld, though. There is more. The Galapagos Islands are not small. It is a very large, handcrafted open world of connected islands, a chain of varying different biomes. From the foresty hills and mountains where you start off, to desert wastelands, to Arctic peaks, to an active volcano. You'll need to bring adequate protection with you as you explore. This is where it draws its last bit of inspiration. The Galapagos Islands were created in a manner to give you points of interest to visually see, to naturally draw your attention there, to explore to that location, to accomplish your goal, defeat other PAL trainers in the 5 towers, which are all visible from your starting point. This design influence is taken heavily from Breath of the Wild. Visual landmarks and collectibles you can see draw you to them to keep exploring. Different biomes requires different types of armor to keep you cool in the desert, or if you're in the volcano, you need to keep cool as well. Or if you're in the frozen Arctic or atop the snowy mountains, you need to keep warm. Cliff monk idols are scattered throughout, these glowing, bright green, inviting lights that get you to explore the world on your way to them, walking, gliding, riding a pal, or flying atop a pal. Traveling to these idols, which can be used to increase your base pal catch chance, you'll often discover various caves you can then explore. These are full of different human enemies of varying factions depending upon which major island you are on, as well as pals. A boss pal at the end you can capture and loot chests to discover. Palworld is really not just Pokemon with guns, and that really does do it a disservice. It's actually Arc with Satisfactory, where you put your Pokemon adjacent pals to work in a Breath of the style world crafted to make you want to explore. Personally, I dislike 99% of survival crafting games. This one is one I was looking forward to, and Shrouded, which just launched into early access as well, and the forthcoming Nightingale. 3 survival crafting games that actually have interested me. Dislike Factorio and Satisfactory or Dyson Sphere Program or games akin to those in that weird manufacturing genre. I personally didn't like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, as I found the open world to be kind of a slog, or the many games that utilize this style of open worlds an impact. I'm also not a big fan of monster catcher games either, such as Pokemon or Digimon, or the more recent ones, such as Monster Sanctuary or Cassette Beasts, though I can give Shin Megami Tensei a pass since it's actually extremely unique. However, I guess if you just create this insane amalgamation of all these genres and styles and throw them into a singular package, and you have me hooked on it like it's a drug, between Steam and Xbox PC Marketplace, where I do play the co-op version with my wife. She's on the console. I have over 100 hours in this game, and by all rights, this game should be nothing more than a dumb meme. But it is a dumb meme. It's just, however, a dumb meme that, while it does have various bugs and issues in early access, has been astoundingly successful. As of writing this, Pocket Pair announced that in its first 5 days, Palworld has sold 7 million copies. Not only this, it has broken Steam. It has risen to the second most played concurrent game at over 2 million players in the middle of the week on a Wednesday. It only trails PUBG when, China wasn't barred behind the Great Firewall. Their 3.5 million player counts. That's probably something that will never be reached. I didn't think 2 million would be. Shit, here we are. Once it overtook the typical Steam topper in Counter-Strike, it hasn't really looked back. For 4 days, it has been the most played game on Steam at once. It has been trending on Xbox console and PC as one of the most played games on those platforms as well, though we unfortunately don't have numbers from Microsoft. With this success, Pocket Pair has even released their first early access roadmap. A game that naysayers would probably have just said this was going to be abandoned, but at this point, why would they? Even have the right priorities in order. Fixing glaring bugs and issues and adding new features. And for microtransaction shops yet either, which I'm pretty sure plenty of people are salty about this. Hate on it for that. There really hasn't been a survival crafting game that spent this much time in or had this much fun in, nor any of other games or genres it's borrowed from. Yet I'm honestly just thinking about the next time I can jump in. I've almost completed my PAL deck and captured them all in my PC solo playthrough. I can still breed the perfect combat team and the perfect workers for my mining bases and my manufacturing bases. I still have a few bits of technology to unlock. I still have caves to explore. I still have lucky versions of PALs to find. There's just a lot of enjoyable content in this addicting loop that I really can't explain. If you hate all of these types of games, you're like me. I don't like all these types of games, but you might just love this amalgamatic mash of genres like I do as well. As for an early access game, it's rather complete as it is. It looks good. It's optimized fantastically. I'm really happy with my purchase and playtime. I know I can look forward to more in the future as well. I don't like to give games ratings. I feel like it's kind of pointless because I feel like my words do more justice than, say a score. but I'm going to give Palworld a rate. I'm going to rate Palworld as the Pokemon game I've wanted since I was 12. 10. Anyways, if you made it this far, thanks for sticking through my overview, the access impressions of Palworld. I really do love it. It's fantastically on my PC. There are mods being put out for the PC version of the game. They've already pushed updates to the Xbox version, making them run smoother, catching it back up in build version to that PC. They're working. One of their priorities is getting crossplay between Xbox and the PC user base, which means there will be dedicated servers on the Xbox side, which is something I want to be able to do with my life. So that world's always constantly good. It's just, this game makes no sense. Anyways, thanks for making it this far. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. If you didn't, well, tell me why. If you're not subscribed, please give my channel a subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day, evening, night, whatever.